May 6, 2021. Russia has kept a heightened military presence near the Ukrainian border despite announcing the withdrawal of the troops it deployed last month, leading to concerns in Washington about Moscow's intentions. The continued heavy Russian military presence near Ukraine's borders and in Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014, maintains pressure on an ex-Soviet neighbor that Moscow considers part of the sphere of influence. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was set to arrive in Ukraine on Wednesday in a show of support. Rocket debris from China's space station launch is hurtling back towards the Earth, reports indicate. The 46,000-pound Chinese rocket Long March 5B recently launched the first module for the country's new space station into orbit. After the core separated from the rest of the rocket, it should have followed a predetermined flight path into the ocean. But now, scientists have little idea where it will land as it orbits the planet unpredictably every 90 minutes, at about 17,000 miles per hour. Its fast speed makes its landing place nearly impossible to predict, but it's expected to make landfall in the coming days.
That's going to tighten up. The models will get much more accurate as this rocket gets lower and lower toward the atmosphere. It'll start slowing more dramatically, and they'll get a much better, more accurate radar track on this thing. And so I would suspect by tomorrow or Friday, we'll have a pretty good idea of what general part of the world it's coming down in. We still won't know exactly where debris might hit.
Thousands of people are still taken to the streets to protest against police brutality and the economic cost of the pandemic amid Colombia's extreme inequality. With both issues common across South America and exacerbated by the pandemic, many international observers are watching Colombia's cycle of protests closely for signs of deeper regional effects. Colombian President Ivan Duque was the first president in the region to launch a tax overhaul to help the country's pandemic-ravaged economy get back in shape. But rigid opposition from Colombia's worker unions and social movements is a cautionary tale for any other president who plans to follow a similar route. The South Carolina House voted Wednesday to add a firearm squad to the state's execution methods amid a lack of lethal injection drugs, a measure meant to jumpstart executions in a state that once had one of the busiest death chambers in the nation. The bill, approved by a 66-43 vote, will require condemned inmates to choose either being shot or electrocuted if lethal injection drugs aren't available. The state is one of only 9 to still use the electric chair and will become only the 4th to allow a firing squad. The city of Atlanta must reinstate a police officer charged in the fatal shooting of a black man outside a Wendy's restaurant in June. This comes from an oversight board ruling that said he was wrongly terminated. The Atlanta Civil Service Board ruled that the city failed to follow its own procedures by dismissing Garrett Rolfe from the police department without a hearing after the killing of Rayshard Brooks. The Civil Service Board decided that Rolfe, who was white, was not offered the opportunity to respond to the allegations that led to his dismissal. Prosecutors in Manhattan have asked a federal judge to appoint a special master to sift through evidence belonging to Rudy Giuliani. This comes as the government continues investigating former President Donald Trump's personal attorney for possible lobbying infractions. In a sign of growing legal scrutiny targeting the former New York City mayor, FBI agents carried out a search warrant at Giuliani's home and office last week. Investigators confiscated his electronic devices, including a cell phone. In a letter unsealed late Tuesday, U.S. Attorney Audrey Strauss wrote that the appointment of a special master is necessary given the unusually sensitive privilege issues that the warrants may implicate.